Welcome to SWF. All right. SWF is considered to be big in size. They are ranked second in the world, and you have $22 million available. So I am going to put that money to work. I'm going to spend. What I like about using SWF for a series like this is there's a real story to be told here. SWF used to be the best company in the nation, within the lore of the Cornellverse, and they're not the top anymore. They've kind of fallen off, and I think it's like a complacency type of thing. They have basically just let themselves get into a place where they're not growing, so they've been overtaken. We're gonna go back to a growth strategy, and that means the brands, more belts, all that good stuff. Let's talk about Jerry Eisen. Goodness, you, Jerry Eisen, are the owner of SWF. Where can I see who my avatar is? Let's look at my character, Jerry Eisen, the eldest son of the legendary SWF founder Richard Eisen. Raised in the business, he has had many jobs within the SWF empire over the years, from selling merchandise to refereeing, but is best known to the fans for his work as a play-by-play announcer. After a stint as head booker, Jerry became owner in 2018 following Richard's enforced early retirement, but is widely perceived to have struggled, with SWF falling further behind the USPW behemoth under his leadership. In 2021, a story broke that revealed that Jerry had fathered several children during affairs in his 20s, including two who now work for RIPW, Adrienne and Ollie Howells, and that the Eisen family had been keeping them secret for years. The story cost Eisen his marriage and resulted in a lot of negative press that the SWF could have done without. So, bro, look, I'm the POS owner of SWF. Okay, that's fine. I'm in charge, I'm the head booker, there we go. Enough said. If you notice some of my notifications here on my office page, we have two brands that I plan on introducing very shortly. It's basically going to be immediately after the first event, which is the 50th birthday spectacular. Basically, I'm going to have two TV shows before that of Supreme TV, and then I'm going to introduce a secondary show called Elite. And I have some plans to build that into basically two rival factions within SWF. I have an idea of how I want it to get there, but what I'm able to do in this introductory video might change my strategy. But the idea is to essentially have a manager of SWF or Supreme, and then Eric Eisen is going to break off and form Elite. Essentially, he's going to run Elite and try to take the Supreme Championships away. Eric Eisen is going to use his money or his half of the SWF profits, this is kayfabe by the way, to take over old brands. I'm not going to get into all the ideas or the plans that I have, except to say I have plans to introduce a bunch of belts to the company. Let's actually start with titles. There's only 3 active titles. And I know that within the game, this is probably all you need. But my strategy with SWF is just simply quick expansion. And I want to take over the top spot back from USPW from the beginning. In terms of belts, I plan on investing in a couple of specific classic belts. I think APWF is going to be secondary or tertiary belt that will be unbranded. This won't get introduced right away, but the idea is to use this belt to create a pay-per-view event that is a themed APWF show, and I'll get into what I'm going to do with the women's division. I'm going to create a women's division, and that also means I'm going to buy the AAA belts. I'm going to create my own women's belt as well. There's going to be a SWF belt and a AAA belt. Again, AAA means that we'll be able to run a AAA show. That is years down the line, I think. But we're going to lay the groundwork. This is the idea of where we are going forward. This isn't going to happen right away. The CGC belt right away. Take the CGC Canadian Championship and run a tournament to get a Canadian champion. Our secondary belt is the North American champion. So I want to have a Canadian champion. I want to have a Mexican champion, which I think I'm going to take the Ali Champion of Mexico belt. Mostly because there's basically two retired or closed companies that were Mexican companies, and MPWF, they have some good belts, but they don't have a specific like Mexico belt. This is way in the future, but we have a belt for Mexico, we have a belt for Canada, then we would have the North American, and then if you're going to create title, I'm basing it off of SWF options for pictures. I don't like the Intercontinental look. I'm not going to do a Legends champion. We have North America. USA belt is a tag belt. So we have North America. We're going to have a Canadian belt, a Mexico belt, and then a US belt, but the US belt is our secondary tag team championship belt. Okay. Then I do think I'm going to create this SWF Uprising champion for RIPW. That way there's a belt for RIPW guys to defend on SWF shows. That will also come later, but maybe sooner than later. The Vixen belt will probably be the first women's championship belt. And then we have the World Money belt. This is going to be the Elite brand belt. And this will probably get created first, but then that will also lead to the creation of the Supreme belt. And these will be secondary championships that are specifically branded. Supreme is going to be a Supreme brand only, and then World Money is going to be an Elite brand only. That also means Vixen will probably be SWF brand only, and then AAA will be Elite brand only. So we'll see the creation of those as it happens. I am not ready to create these belts. That will happen in future episodes, but that's just to give you an idea of where things will go. All right, let's look at the booking team. If we're looking at the booking team, there's a few guys who I am very much thinking of adding. I think Angry Gilmore is going to get on here just because his booking skill is quite high. It's funny, like when you play other companies, Eric Eisen is the head booker, but he doesn't show up as an option here. Let's search. He's a problematic option and he's insecure, right? So in story, Eric Eisen, he's a pain in the butt, right? Exclude problematic. I am going to continue to exclude problematic. To keep him happy, I'm going to make him a personality essentially and be a rival for the leader of the Supreme brand, which isn't Jerry Eisen, to be honest. Jerry Eisen is, I think, going to mostly stay behind the scenes. So Angry Gilmore, Dwayne Fry, quickly looking through, if I add Angry Gilmore and Enforcer Roberts, that's 1, 2, 3. I have a spot for a fourth. I feel like Angry Gilmore, he's a guy who, he's got good booking skill. I want him on the team. So he'll get added. Enforcer Roberts will get added. And then I have another gentleman who I want to hire that would also fit as that fourth person on the booking team. In creative, Rocky Golden is our top guy. Remo is secondary, and then we have Des Davids. And the way things start in an SWF save is Rocky Golden and Des Davids are in a feud. And I think I'm going to end that feud pretty quickly and replace Des Davids with Remo. I think Davids will potentially be that third guy in the mix who is either trying to get the contender spot or going for the belt, switching from heel to face to heel, depending on who he's up against. Scythe is also a good option for being a contender for Rocky Golden. Also, Scythe is the youngest, so he is certainly going to get a push at some point. I do want to get him a manager to do all the mic stuff for him. When you look at his skills, he's not going to be great on the mic, but he can definitely do the whole menace thing. We need to eventually push him, but I'm not quite ready yet. I think within the first year, at some point, I'm probably giving Remo the belt in order to give it back to Rocky Golden. But we'll see. Next big things. So, I don't know if I agree with any of this. We'll see what happens. I don't plan on giving these guys specific pushes right away, except maybe Gary the Entertainer. He is really good on the mic, and I think there's a way to get him into angles and stories where he utilizes his mic skills. I just don't know if he really gets pushed. Maybe he gets a belt to get a push. Yeah. Forrest Ratzloff, he's a heel, I'm pretty sure. He's got some charisma, he's got some star quality. He just is not a good in-ring worker. Like, what are we doing? He's not going to put on good matches. He's not going to put on long matches. But even his selling isn't great. I mean, he's consistent, cool. He's going to be consistently bad, right? I don't know. We'll have to see. He's young. He might even get into a storyline or two. Hot prospects. I actually think Chill, he's a guy to put the Canadian belt on. He's Canadian. And is he popular in Canada? He's relatively popular in Canada. I've tossed around this idea in other saves previously, and he doesn't have great skills, but he's popular enough to carry the prestige. It's not even going to be a secondary belt because we have the North American title. Yeah, I do think Chill gets the Canadian title. I think I'm going to specifically want Canadian workers for that first tournament. And there's a few, but we'll see. Talk the talk. Here's my good mic workers. I think Hollywood Brett Starr is somebody who is going to be a star. I don't know if Spencer Spade, he's another one who I think he's going to get a push eventually. He's, how old? 31? He's quite young. Hollywood Brett Starr, also 31. Of course, I think as heels, they are better together. Hollywood Brett starts as a face. I don't think I'm going to keep that going for very long. Valiant, his mic skills are pretty good. All right, I like it. He's up there. He's pretty beat up, although at least everything is in the 70s. Except his head, but he's a good worker. He's a worker who I think should take one of those new belts that gets pushed and make it an established championship. Showstoppers. I do think at some point Randy Unleashed and ZWB are going to get into a feud. That is going to be built off of the existing feud between Randy Unleashed and Mikey Lau. I do plan on having them basically have a series of matches. That is dangerous because if they don't keep getting higher ratings, then you're looking at a really bad rating for their fourth matchup. So within the next few months, they're going to have at least 3 big matches together at events. Mainstream Hernandez, he'll be utilized to kind of boost the tag division, I think. Is his in-ring psychology actually that good? I guess it is, yeah, and that's awesome. I definitely think there's a lot of room to push him as well. So we'll see. Ring generals. Again, Angry Gilmore, he's going to be there to put other guys over. Not that he has to basically job, but he's going to be the guy who works with younger talent most often. As for everyone else, they're going to have their own roles to play. Here's my hot workers. Who's not hot? All right, Gilmore, Rogue, which is fine. These are two workers who are up there in age, but they're pretty good in-ring workers. Rogue is decent. Actually, Rogue might be a good guy to be the heel version of what Gilmore does. He's gonna help give good matches with younger guys. Now, as for hidden gems, let's take a look at these guys. Let's actually do some scouting. Mutant, he's a guy who maybe gets into that scary heel stable. Although from looking at him, he's mostly a hardcore worker, and that's just not something I'm really going to do with SWF. But his brawling is good enough, his menace is good enough. I do think it's something that we can work with. 25, high water mark is 64. Yeah, I don't like Papa Swole, just because his in-ring work is not going to be what I'm looking for. Zippy Devereaux. He's not looking like a worker who's going to be great, but the high side on his mic and charisma and acting, star quality is quite good, and he's only 21. And I think you can get away with him having a high fighting score of 68. I already have him shortlisted. Look at that. Look at that. Fat pad. He could definitely be more of a manager type guy, and I do have him shortlisted. See, do I already have? Yeah, Nate Marcus is shortlisted, and you can see why. He's got decent ratings, maybe not for the microphone and charisma, but he most certainly can be linked up with a good manager, and that's taken care of. Okay, so there's creative. Let's look at events. Coming up, we got 2 episodes of Supreme TV. Boop, boop, and then 50th Birthday Spectacular. Let me show first that the Birthday Spectacular is on Thursday, January 13th. I'm gonna leave that because it's a one-off event, and it is the event for January that's basically replacing When Hell Freezes Over, which is the annual event. Now, when you load up an SWF save, your events are on Thursdays, and that's to not compete with anything that the other companies in the US are doing, which is fine-ish. Not how I want to roll. I think every second Saturday is where I'm putting the events, and that's because I'll have Supreme on Tuesday, which is competing with TCW TV show, by the way, and then Elite is going to occupy the Thursday night spot. So 2 shows a week. My child company, RIPW, is going to have a show on Wednesday. So if you're an SWF fan, you're gonna have Tuesday Supreme, Wednesday Uprising, and Thursday Elite. All right, my short list is quite long. You will see why. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for popularity. I want to say that it's probably 65 that I looked for old SWF guys, but I'm going to put 50 here, and my intention is to hire. So let's, and then I'm going to say SWF. Basically, my idea is to hire these guys for the 50th anniversary and then maybe beyond. The popularity, very important. The tough thing is going to see who actually agrees to wrestle Darius Singer. On and off, I might utilize this gentleman. And then Jack Bruce, I got long-term plans for him. As a personality, I would prefer it if he wrestled for the 50th anniversary. Skull to Bones, I would like him to wrestle, but also I want him to get involved in one of the feuds and be in the mix for a little while. He is one of the more popular workers that is a former SWF guy. course, Bruce the Giant is also massively popular. The Force, I'm gonna bring him back. It's just for one event. For him, he's not a massively popular guy. He's not really a good in-ring worker. He is just there to fill space. It's role-playing, so for the nostalgia. Let's talk to the workers. Career, what's your goal? Doesn't have a specific goal. Let's just ask them all if it's time to come out of retirement. Sorry, I don't think I have another run in me. I mean, I don't necessarily care about that. I don't know if that necessarily means that they won't wrestle a match. You've convinced me. I think I have another run left in me. Oh, he is now out of retirement. Look at that. I actually do think I like him as a road agent, but let me just see if we can get him to wrestle. Yes. I actually think that this is a guy who he could help to boost a Canadian title. He's Canadian. Not gonna do it. He's already a wrestler, so I don't have to ask him to come out of retirement. Now it's time to negotiate. I don't want to give him 3 years, but I do want to give him 3 months. Unlimited appearances. If I think about how often I want him to show up, I want him to show up specifically for Supreme and events. Let's say 3 events, 9 appearances, or 3 months, with whichever comes first. Let's go with that. And maybe a bonus of 10% per event. So if you're only working events, whichever comes first, he's being paid per month. He's either getting 3 appearances or 9 appearances. All right, so I guess nothing. Let's make it official. Okay, now let's see if Sean McFly is a little bit more reasonable. I'm gonna say 1 month of unlimited appearances, events and A shows, 35. Yes, okay. And now I think we would continue to have him as a road agent as well. I have plans for Skull to Bones, so let's negotiate. We're gonna do per show 1 month, 1 appearance, no in-ring work, events only, make offer. Guaranteed downside. So yeah, I'm basically gonna have to pay these guys for a month of work. So no in-ring work, 1 appearance, 1 month. We'll make it a written deal. I think the plan is to put him in an angle. What I'll do is I'll give him his bonus up front, 4,800. Okay. Let's make it official. 1 month or 1 appearance. 39,300. A 10% bonus would be another 200. Make it official. We'll get Bruce the Giant to show up. Negotiate with Bruce. No in-ring work. He's gonna get per show 1 month, 1 appearance, event only. Let's make him an offer. Let's go to 2,600 for the show. Okay, let's set the downside to that demand. All right, make it official. Darius Singer. We're just gonna do per show, 1 month, 1 appearance. He wants creative control. He gets creative control. He's not going to wrestle, so. Six, 7, 8. There it is. And then this guy can do a work the crowd type thing. And I guess his popularity is good enough for that. Although if he's cheap, I'll get him. If he's not, it's not worth it. Per show, 1 month, 1 appearance, no in-ring work, event only. That works. Our next gentleman, I do believe I can utilize him when it comes to a commentator for Elite. He can be a heel commentator. Let me just take a look at my commentary. I need a play-by-play guy. I am going to go back to my short list. I will put him on color commentary and I will make him part of my booking team. Really can't go wrong there. So let's negotiate and see what he wants. I think I'm going to hire him for 1 year. I'm basically going to put never involve in-ring work because he has good mic skills, charisma and microphone. I might use him for other things. I think this is a decent amount of money per month, available for all shows. He did book CGC, so that's another angle that I want to put him in, maybe as like the CGC representative. Now, I next want to, we'll do a reset. Role is wrestler, works for any, let's talk female wrestlers. So these are folks that I have vetted based on their skills, their age. I'm basically looking to put them in RIPW, get them more popularity, and then put them in a female division. Everybody on the list here is going to be potentially my women's division. And really the issue here is popularity. That's where everybody is going to have to catch up. It is time to negotiate. I think what I want to do is give 1-year contracts to everybody with unlimited appearances. Let's canvass opinions. No one has anything to say. Let's make an offer. Yes. Offer made. We're basically going to give them what they want for 1 year of time. And I'm going to go through the rest and just, if anything interesting happens, I'll check in. Okay, everybody has a contract offer here except Evelyn Jameson. She's a celebrity. But I am going to negotiate. I'm going to do a 1-show, just like our SWF guys. She's going to be part of the announcement. I think we might even also have her as a ring girl. 1 appearance. She's going to be at the event. And that's it. Special attraction, event only, and never involved in ring work. Okay, yeah, creative control is fine because either you're going to work the crowd or use sex appeal. It is like $10,000 more, but okay, yeah, I got an offer for 1 appearance. Okay, so that being the case, I am going to remove the workers because they're either going to sign or they won't. And now I also have a bunch of guys who are young-ish. Let's say any identity. We just want wrestlers, can work somewhere, to hire, and search. So there's like a cruiserweight shooting star belt. That's another one that I think I want to add back into the mix. So I look specifically for workers who could compete for that belt. They might not have the popularity I need to compete in my actual SWF main roster, but again, I want to build up that RIPW roster because they're going to be doing weekly shows, and I want to build that brand and basically make them the feeder for the next generation of SWF wrestlers. So it's time to offer 1-year contracts to all of these guys except my superstars that I already offered contracts to. Okay, so we have all of our offers out there. I am going to remove everyone here from the short list. All right, I do want an additional referee for RIPW. I believe that's where he's needed. Let me just take a quick look at my child company. So let's look at our roster and see reset. We're gonna look for referees first. We have one referee, so we need at least another one. He is a good referee. How many referees do I have on SWF's roster? That is a question. We have 4. So I think having 3 in RIPW makes sense. So let's go to shortlist, negotiate, 78 a month. Let's give him 3 years. Make offer. Yes. Now what was it? 7,800 a month. I'm not going to give this guy more than that. All right, that's fair. Okay. I believe I found her, hoping to look for someone who can maybe be an additional road agent. Color commentary and personality. For my road agents. Just one road agent. Okay, so I could use another road agent. Talk to worker. I think you should make yourself a road agent. All right, so now they're also a road agent. I am going to negotiate, and let's say 1 year per month, never involved in ring work, available for all shows, and we'll make the offer. Excellent. We have all our contracts out there. Actually, I think I'm gonna product men with small women's division. Ticket prices, I think I do want to make their tickets very cheap. It's not about money, it's about popularity for them. So I'm gonna set their ticket prices to very cheap. They're not big enough for house shows, so I'm not worried about it.
As soon as I have the 50th birthday spectacular,
I will have the broadcasting deals start, because I want to get my broadcast deal for Elite first. We're gonna get them to their next event, and that's when we're gonna start. Now, what I want to do is, in companies, I want to build a good relationship with Queens of American Wrestling, bring them into the fold, maybe even have them be an additional child company for female wrestlers instead of having a combined feeder system. Even though I'm going to probably steal some of their workers, but we'll see. So in relationships, I want to negotiate. Let's adopt a friendly attitude. And they have a mildly positive opinion. So the next thing I want to do is offer a cash boost, but I want to make sure I have enough cash in order to do it. I'm going to wait the cash, but I at least want to position myself in a friendly way there. What I'm doing with the house shows is I am only going to run house shows on Saturdays and Sundays, because Tuesdays and Thursdays we have our TV shows. Saturdays are our events. So if we have an event, there won't be a house show, but that means our guys are going to be working every other day, both days on weekends. They're working a lot. I'll also have more opportunities with 2 TV shows in order to put like pre-show matches, even post-show matches. I can take advantage of that in order to find out like chemistry and things of that nature. I just want to show the house show loop. The house show loop is intended to hit places that are underserved. The house shows are going to dip into places like Centro, like Quebec, Manitoba. That's going to hit places where the popularity is low, but I want to increase that popularity. At some point, I might want to go into Europe and all that. As far as production goes, broadcast quality, we will probably upgrade that soon. Production values, so we'll upgrade that when we need to in order to match USPW. It's all good. Our size in the US, 78 all around, that's pretty good. Canada, 69, Mexico, 55. I want that to increase. British Isles is not very good. Is Europe any good? Nope, Europe is terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. So at some point, Europe and British Isles I want to increase, but we'll see when it's time to do that. I think maybe as we are approaching huge, maybe then we start to move into other parts of the world. For ticket prices, I'm going to keep them normal for my main SWF company and training facilities. Supreme Wrestling University. This is important. I have it mostly male and graduation is every August. So we'll keep it. Facilities are at 38%. That's something that I might upgrade, but at the moment we do get 4 graduates each year. So that's not bad. I don't know if it's worth spending the money there. The way I like to organize storylines is to take the heat and put that at the front. That way you have your best or hottest storylines at the bottom, and at the top, the least hot storylines. I do plan on adding a few storylines to get things moving and ensuring that I have the correct amount of hot storylines. I think I want to say that I need like 5 or so. Jerry Eisen, he's as a play-by-play, but I don't know if I'll do much, if anything, to make him a personality. Although his microphone skills are decent, I might put myself as, I can't talk to myself, can I? Oh, okay, I want to make myself an on-screen personality. I think I will do that. I'm going to make myself an on-screen personality, and I'm going to change my gimmick details, prepare a gimmick change. It's going to be a realistic gimmick. It's going to be Supreme Owner. Let's just go ahead and confirm the gimmick change. We're going to keep it standard, like realistic. What we have here, it says, imagine existing outside the wrestling world. He's the owner. He's the Supreme Owner. So let's confirm the gimmick change. And then with Eric Eisen, he doesn't have a defined role. With his skills, I don't think I necessarily want him to be a commentator, but I do think he will make a good personality. And I don't know if Jack Bruce is going to be that alternate personality, but I want him to be. I'm going to go ahead and talk to him. Do we want to make him a... I want you to be a personality, bro. Yeah, I don't like you as a play-by-play commentator, and I don't like you as a referee. I'm just gonna go ahead and prepare a gimmick change. Standard. Elite. And let's confirm. Next on the tour, let's look at our roster. We're going to look at our wrestling roster, and right now I'm just looking to see if there's any kind of gimmick changes we need. Let's look at major stars first. Of course, we have Des Davids. His gimmick is great, so we'll leave that be. Great gimmick. Ultimate Bully. Rocky Golden. Great gimmick. Heroic Role Model. And Scythe. A Dark Reaper. He is legendary and only 30 years old, so I really just think he can get to the top and be a major star, and he can go between heel and face. Let's take a look at our stars. Hollywood Cool, great for Hollywood Brett Starr. Primus Allen has a great gimmick. Force of Destruction. Randy Unleashed has a legendary gimmick. I like that. Great gimmick for Supreme Star. And he is the North American champion, Spencer Spade. Right. I'm not going to spoil yet what's going to happen with him. All-American Boy. is great. Managed by Hannah. Very cool. Now, well-known, Search. Tough Veteran, great gimmick. Wrecking Machine, legendary gimmick. I feel like Adam Smasher can also become quite a good star. Star quality is high. Just doesn't have amazing popularity, but that can change. Bear Bukowski, he is got a great gimmick for Brandon James. Ikuma is very good, and that's fine. High Flying Hawaiian, very good. Legendary, too awesome, great. Very good for Marshall Dillon. Legendary from Mass Patriot. Second generation star is very good. Mikey Lau is legendary. Monty Tesicarte, legendary. Corrupt Wall Street, okay. Paul Huntington, very good. Legendary, great, very good. All right, so these are all good things. The recognizable to unimportant is probably going to make it harder. He has an adequate gimmick. So gimmick details, let's try to tweak it. Very good. Iceman. I want to tweak his gimmick because I want to give him a push. Gimmick details. He has a mysterious occult gimmick. That's interesting. Tweak. Gimmick is very good. Specimen is a great gimmick. Entertainer is a great gimmick. Good gimmick. Great. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Great. Great. Adequate. Makutsi. Gimmick details. Let's tweak. Oliver Cobb. Great. Very good. Robbie Wright. Adequate. Sammy Smoke as a con man. We're going to tweak. And let's check out unimportant. All right, they have good gimmicks.
Well, that's it for the tour of SWF run by Jerry Eisen. If you want to see what happens next with this save, click like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you next time it's on.